Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kenyon. All right guys, so for today's video, I'm gonna teach you step by step how to build the most entry-level screen printing press. What we're building is basically just a mini version of this. This press costs about 1,400 bucks, but the press that we're gonna be building right now costs under 180 bucks. So yeah, definitely start cheap if you don't have that much finances. People drop 250 bucks on a pair of shoes. If you drop 180 bucks on this screen printing press, you could generate thousands of dollars within the coming years. All you gotta do is pull some t-shirt orders. All right, so the press we're gonna be building is a 2-station 4-color press, and that's gonna allow you to print 4-color designs, or if you just wanna have 4 different designs up on the press at the same time, you can do that too. All right, so just so you guys know, there are a few more things you're gonna need to buy in order to actually start printing t-shirts for your first time. I'm actually gonna make a full tutorial, show you guys how to make it. I usually make it all out of wood, so it's like dirt cheap, just like this screen back here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do a full tutorial on how to make your own exposure unit, how to make your own screens, and all that. All right, so some other things you're gonna need with this printing press is a, let's see. You're gonna wanna buy a heat gun, just because the other option is to buy a flash dryer right there, but those are really expensive. They're like 200 bucks. So when you're first getting started, a heat gun works fine. They're like probably 16 bucks, 15 bucks, depending on where you are. I'll post links in the description. All right, so I just wanna say really quick, if anyone's new to screen printing, getting a printing press like this, or the one that we're gonna build in today's video, it's gonna allow you to mass produce the same design over and over and over again. If you're trying to do like 20 different designs, or if you're trying to do one-off designs for other people, it's probably way better for you to just get a heat press, I got one over there, and do direct to film transfers. But if you're gonna be printing more than like 10 or 15 of the same exact design, probably easier just to make a screen and then screen print it. Also, a really big factor that I forgot to mention, screen printing lasts so much longer than direct to film. Screen printing will last years and years. I've literally printed this t-shirt, I wanna say like 4 or 5 years ago, no cracking, none of that. So yeah, screen printing is by far the best quality you can get with printing t-shirts. It's better than direct to film, direct to garment. And I also just wanna say there are billions of people on the planet who will always need t-shirts. The t-shirt printing industry is not going anywhere. I started printing t-shirts in high school, and it's still extremely relevant, and it's only gonna be more and more relevant, especially with AI making it super easy to print designs. More and more people are gonna be starting their own t-shirt companies. So yeah, this should be a booming industry in the future. So hopefully that motivates you. Don't let anyone say, oh, there's already enough printers out there, because there's not. All my local screen printing shops, there's like a 2-week waiting list. So yeah, good trade to learn right here. Hopefully that motivates you a little bit. And then of course, the other business strategy to having a screen printing press is to just make t-shirts for business owners, or for events, or for schools, teams, stuff like that. They always need t-shirts. They literally order shirts for almost every event they have. All right guys, we got the pack right over here. Here's what it looks like. Let's go ahead and unbox it and get this going. Grab my knife. We got the instructions right here. Just gonna throw these in the trash really quick. I'm just kidding. We're actually gonna try and use these. All right, here we go. Comes with the tools. That's good. All right, so here's what everything looks like laid out on the table. I know it looks like a lot. It probably looks really intimidating. Honestly, it's so easy. Keep in mind, a lot of it's just doing the same exact thing twice or 4 times. So once you get it the first time, all you gotta do is repeat it. I'll break it down for you guys right now. Let's go ahead and get into it. You can see all the screws are all numbered. Of course, they're from China, so like numbering's not the best. It goes 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, and then I don't know, this was probably supposed to be number 3. And then we got the bag of tools right here. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is mount all of these pieces, because all of these go to the frame. It's super simple. We're gonna bust open bag number 1. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna dump all the screws out on the table really quick. And we're gonna be using all 4 bolts. First thing we're gonna do is grab the slightly smaller piece. There's 2 of these, one long one, which is right there, and then one short one. All right, so our short piece is actually gonna go on the long side of the frame right there. You can see we have a short side right there, and then we got the long side over here. And you want the nice side facing upward. If I flip this around, you can see there's a big old like welding line right there. So make sure you flip that backwards so no one sees it. And I'm gonna grab the screws right now. I'm just gonna show you guys where to place it. It's gonna go right like that. All right, so for every bolt, you're gonna need a washer and then a nut, and then the bolt's gonna go outward away from the press. So put it in that way. Then the washer, and then the nut. Same exact thing for the other side. We're good. Gonna grab the wrench that came with it and crank these down. Gonna make it pretty tight so it doesn't come off. All right, so that side's good to go. Now we're gonna bolt the other side on, and that's gonna be the really long piece we have right here. And the most important thing with this part is you wanna make sure that hole right there is facing upward. So it's gonna go on like that. All right, and once that's done, we're gonna move on to these little pieces right here. These are super simple. All you gotta do is unscrew this bolt right here for both sides. And these two bolts are gonna go into these two holes right here, and you want the wheels facing inward like that. And it should slide right in. Then you're gonna throw the nuts on underneath. And just so you guys know, I actually had to grab the second wrench this thing came with. All right, so this piece is on. There's another one we're gonna put on the other side, but before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and put one of these screws in this little hole right here. But before we do that, we actually have to put the nut on, just like this. All right, that should be enough. Now I'm just gonna screw it in there. And the last and final step is we're gonna grab one of these. I know the camera doesn't pick it up too well, but it's just a little fabric part. It's like a sticker. We're gonna peel off the back. Now we have the sticky side exposed, and we're just gonna line it up directly on top of the screw like that. Push it down, make sure it stays, and we're done. So now that we have this side done, we're gonna do the exact same 2 steps on this side. And it looks like they didn't put this one together for us, so all we gotta do is mount on the wheels and stuff. So I'm gonna get that finished up really quick. Gonna drop this in there like that. And we're good. All right, so you guys can see the wheels are still loose. They can still move around a bit. I'm honestly just gonna wait to tighten those until we get everything else assembled. That way we can line everything up correctly. So yeah, don't worry about that. Just make sure you get the screws mounted onto the frame tightly. We still gotta throw on this bolt. So let me do that really quick. And the little pad thingy, and we're done. All right, guys, so moving along, we're gonna go ahead and grab bag number 2. Gonna bust this open, and inside here, you're gonna find a little bag with these black bolts inside. These are what we're gonna use for the next step. And along with these little bolts right here, also gonna need all of the little nuts in the number 2 bag. All right, so here we go. All we're gonna do is take one of the arms. You can see that's the front end that's gonna go in the air. This is the back end that's gonna mount to this plate right here. All we're gonna do is align these to the holes that are right there. All right, so you know it's in the right position when there's one random hole that's right behind the piece that you're mounting. So there's only 4 of those, and there's 4 of these arms that we gotta get mounted. All right, and it's pretty obvious. You're just gonna take one of those black bolts and one of the nuts and your Allen wrench and get a bolt screwed into each one of those holes. So one at a time, just push those in like that, throw in a nut underneath. All right, guys, so we got the first arm mounted up on there. It goes up and down, just like you can see right there. And we're gonna go ahead and finish off the other 4. And just to let you guys know, the bolts are a really snug fit through these holes. So yeah, you might have to kind of like tap them in with one of your wrenches to get them in there really well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the other 3 really quick, and I'll get back to you guys when I do that. Dang, China, you gotta do better. These barely fit through this hole. Pretty sure I'm gonna have to like pound in each one. And I do wanna say that putting the bolts in before you place them on the press is so much easier than trying to do it one at a time while it's on there. Definitely do it that way. All right, guys, so all the arms are mounted on, and all I'm gonna do now is go ahead and tighten all the screws. That way I can just get it out the way. And for that, you're gonna need the mini wrench it comes with. All right, so everything's tight. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step. All right, so for the next step, we're gonna be taking these 4 brackets that were in the same bag, and we're gonna be mounting each one in these 2 little holes. Really tricky mistake you need to avoid is that there's a long side, which is this side, and then there's a short side, which is that side. And you're gonna wanna mount the short side right there, facing down right there, just like that. And we're gonna use the exact same bolts we used to mount these on. First one's done, I'm gonna do the other 3. All right, so all of those are mounted on. Next thing I'm gonna do is drop. So the next thing I'm gonna do is drop all the arms, and I'm gonna grab these last 4 bolts right here. And you can see behind every single arm, there's a hole. You're just gonna add a bolt inside that hole. And make sure you drop the arms when you do this, because if the arms are standing up like that and then you screw it in, you're gonna have an issue putting them down. You're gonna have to redo the entire step. We finished that up also. All right, so we finished that up. Another tip for you guys is you don't wanna screw the bolts in all the way. You only wanna screw them in about halfway. Actually, I forgot one last thing we have to do is grab the 4 little fabric pieces, and these are gonna stick onto the top right here. These things are so hard to unpeel. Honestly, I might just leave them out. Like, why they gotta do this, man? We're just gonna skip that part. All right, guys, so we're close to being finished. We're gonna go ahead and finish off the arms here. You're gonna notice there's a top side and a bottom side. The top side holes are gonna be threaded because we're gonna put a bolt through there right now. And yeah, so make sure you have each piece lined up correctly. All right, so for this step, you're gonna need bag number 4. You're also gonna need the bag that have all these little pieces in it. I'm gonna dump these out for you guys so you can see. And I'm gonna open this too. All right, so it's really simple. You're just gonna take 2 of these, screw both of them on the top like that. And you don't have to go very far. You actually don't want to go very far because it might mess up the next step. Just go in about a 1/4 inch like that. All right, so you guys can see at the bottom, there's a little hole right there. All you're gonna do is place one of these washer looking pieces on the bottom there. Hold it on for a second. All right, so for this step, it's so much easier to have a Phillips head screwdriver. It doesn't come with one, so hopefully you guys have one. If not, I'm sure you could figure it out without it. All we're gonna do is put the screw on like that, then hold this piece right there. And then I'm gonna go through the hole on the bottom, directly in like that. And yeah, that was so much easier with the Phillips head screwdriver. We gotta tell China to add all the tools in next time, all right? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing for this side and then for all the other pieces that we have laying around right there. And I'll get back to you guys when I finish. All right, guys, so all 4 of those are done. I'm gonna go ahead and bust out bag number 5, and we're gonna go ahead and get each one of these mounted. And just so you guys can see better, it's gonna go on just like this. And we're gonna throw the screws straight through there. And then on the back side, you're gonna add a washer and then the nut. All right, guys, so here's what the press looks like right now. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the springs on, and then once we do that, all the arms are gonna be facing up, and it's gonna look a lot better. I'm gonna bust these open. So you can see you have 2 different parts that come with the springs. You have this little thing, I have no idea what it's called, and then you have the spring itself. This part has a hook on one end, and then it has a closed off circle on the other end. So each one of these hooks right here is gonna mount inside one of those holes right there. And then you're gonna attach the spring from that end all the way to that end. You might actually have to loosen this up a bit in order for the spring to actually reach. So all you have to do is twist it. Kind of takes a long time, but yeah, just twist it, open it wide enough in order for the spring to attach there and there. And if you lift these up a tad bit, it might be a little bit easier for you to attach the spring. I'm gonna go ahead and do that for all the arms and get back to you when I'm done. That's actually really hard, not gonna lie. All right, so really quickly, I learned you have to open this piece up as far as it can go, just about, in order to get the spring in as easy as possible. So I'm gonna do that really quick. Kind of takes a while. All right, so here's how the press looks when all the springs are done. You can see each one of these comes down and it should go right back up. If not, go ahead and tighten this little piece, adjust it to make sure each one springs back up. All right, so finishing off the press, all we need to do is mount up this last piece of the frame. We're gonna do with these 2 screws, which we're gonna do with these 2 bolts right here. It's super simple. You're gonna need the Allen wrench. Where you at? All right, so there's 2 holes left in the frame. You're just gonna pop them in there, make sure they go all the way through to the bottom side of this. We're gonna take the last piece of the frame and line up the 2 bolts at the bottom and then screw it in using the Allen wrench. All right, so moving on to the last and final step to assembling our press. We're gonna go ahead and put together the pallets. It's super easy. Let's go ahead and bust them out of the plastic and get going. All right, so each pallet has 6 holes on the back side right there. All you're gonna do is take one of these metal pieces and line up the 6 holes just like this. Then you're gonna take these little tiny screws right here and screw them in each hole. Okay, and this is kind of dumb. They give you a flat head, but it's definitely supposed to be a Phillips head because there's no flathead screws in this entire kit. So I take back my first comment where I said they give you all the tools you need. This one definitely didn't. Like you can throw this away pretty much. Go ahead and grab a Phillips head screwdriver and this will finish up super easy. Then when all 6 of those screws are in, you're gonna go ahead and take the bigger bolts, the only bolts that are left, and you're gonna screw these in to the holes that you see on the side. There's 6. There should be 6 holes. And you don't wanna screw them in all the way. You just wanna put them in enough so they stay. All right, that's good enough. I'm gonna repeat the same exact steps for the next pallet, and we'll be done. All right, guys, all we gotta do now is take one of the pallets and mount them. Gonna screw it down so it stays on. Then I'm gonna flip the entire thing over and put the other pallet on. All right, so once you throw the last pallet on, it's pretty much done. All you gotta do is tighten the little pieces like these wheels and all that. You're just gonna bring that down, and while it's down, you just go ahead and tighten them with your Allen wrenches. Right now, I'm gonna go ahead and throw a screen on just so you guys can see how it works. Here's one I made a long time ago. All right. All right, so the springs aren't holding it in the air, so that means I need to tighten the springs. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, and here you go. Here's the finished press. The screen goes on like that. The t-shirt goes right here, and you bring it down and press it and pull the ink through with the squeegee, and that's it. And then once you have your design on here, you just take your heat gun, heat it up. Once it's dry, you can do another take, and then take it off and hit it with the heat gun to dry it. All right, guys, so that's it for this tutorial. This took a little bit longer than I expected. I would say give yourself like an hour, hour 15. It took me about an hour and 30, but that's because I was trying to get all the angles and all that. If you guys want a link to this exact press, I'll post it down in the description. It's an affiliate link. I hope this video helped you guys out. I hope it motivated you to get into screen printing, start your garage screen printing shop. I got more startup tutorial videos coming soon. We're also starting up a few more businesses here, so yeah, stay tuned for that. If you guys aren't already subscribed, please hit subscribe. We're almost at 300K. Also, I need you guys to go follow my Instagram. A link to it will be in the description as well. My name is Kenyon. Peace out, guys. See you soon.